Welcome to Long Story Short on Nearing Nirvana. This is episode 120. I can't believe we've done 120 of these episodes.
120 episodes. God damn. That's a lot. So we were hoping to have a special guest with us tonight, but you're gonna have to wait. Well, we got Joe. He's back. But a different special guest, not a regular. But wait till next week for that. We expect this person to be on with us, and but we have a great show for you tonight. A lot of cool books to talk about, and yeah, happy to be here.
Sweet.
Yeah, man.
Let us take care of the bills, right? So big shout out to Cover Price. Make sure you're using the code Nirvana14.
Wait a minute. Do they charge us?
There are sponsors. There are sponsors.
How is that a bill to us? I'm not paying Cover Price. I already paid for the online thing. Don't tell me I got to pay to be on YouTube.
Yeah, man, it just never
I'm
ends.
not doing
They pay you to be on YouTube. They pay you to be on YouTube,
bro. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, sorry.
They're gonna make it up to you. They're gonna make it up to you in July. So, all right, make sure you're using the code Nirvana14 for a 30-day unlimited membership for only 99 cents. You can also use the code Nirvana for a 10% discount over at birdcitycomics.com. And then if you're in the area, use the code in store. Let's see. We already got predictions of who our guest is going to be. It's because you showed those Mark Spears books, so that everyone thinks it's Mark Spears now.
No.
Joe and Mark Spears are as thick as thieves, but I will say to avoid any sort of rumor mongering, it's not Mark Spears. That is not the guest we're talking about. But.
Of course, I could ask him. And talk about some scarce books.
Listen, if he ever wants to be on, we'll drum up some books for him to talk about.
Look at that, bro! I got him as a little kid with the Monstress, bro.
Nice.
Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Alrighty. Of course, it's Donny Cates.
Oh my gosh,
man! Fucking
nailed it.
Mark Spears and Donny Cates together, bro. Oh my goodness, dude, my head would explode, dude. You guys already know, man.
Hey, Joe, do you forgive him for what he did to you?
Yeah, my wife still thinks he's a fucking asshole, but anyway.
All right, we're gonna get into the show tonight before we lose the crowd. So
we go lose the crowd.
If you've never seen my internet before, I can't believe we have any new viewers these days. But if you've never seen this before, we are here to help you on your hunt, looking for cool books. Don't be stupid and pay dummy bay prices. Go hunt for these books. That's the whole point of this show. All right, let's get into it.
Let's go.
All right, so we're just talking about this book because we talked about this book 5 months ago on the show. And then all of a sudden, this book has become one of the biggest things in the hobby overnight. So this is VeeFriends #1. This is the J. Scott Campbell variant that was limited to 555 copies. This book is going for $5,000 now. $5 freaking grand, which is crazy. But we featured this on episode 103. So if you want to go back and take a look, be our guest. But yeah, just wanted to point out that while people are saying they've never, and the funniest thing was Laura was on Cover Price's Hot 10 show, and this was the #1 book, and she's like, I'd love to see that Campbell. I've never seen it. I sent her a picture. She was on the show with us when we were talking about this book, and I think she was a little embarrassed by that. But regardless, Laura, we love you, and yeah, this thing is full-blown ghost status at this point. So, and the whole deal with this is that V has put out a bunch of trading cards, like he's trying to compete with Pokemon about these characters, but these comics were super limited, and they're sort of reaching ridiculous heights at this point.
Cool.
But Gary V does have official Topps cards releasing with his characters in that product.
Yeah, no, he's got
So
that's been the whole thing, is that he's basically releasing trading cards of these characters.
Right, but he's releasing cards before on his own, but backed by a big card producer like Topps, that's putting it into the stratosphere.
Yeah, I think it is Topps, right? Isn't it Topps that he's doing it?
Yeah. So his original cards were just released on his own.
Oh, you're saying that there's the Topps are doing their own version of them, and he released his own prior to that. Okay, I mean the dude is
like
uber entrepreneur, obviously. But anyways, this is not a new book. We're just sort of recapping that. We do cover the news before it breaks on the show from time to time. So, all right, what do we got next?
All right, I keep on freezing, so I'm just going to go next.
All right, let's start the show off with a beautiful Matt Baker. This is Wartime Romances number 7 from St. John Publishing in 1952. That year keeps coming up on this show and Carter's show for whatever reason, but an 8.0 sold for a mere $508 back in 2011. Criminally low, I would say. Only 12 of these on the census, none in 9.8. That 8.0 is the high grade. Can anybody read what she's saying? I think she's basically, he wants to go to war, and he's basically telling her she can run the shop as long as she doesn't hook up with other guys. If I recall.
But you can't go into the army now. Think of me. What will I do? We've invested every cent we have in this diner.
I'm gonna have to go on and have OnlyFans now.
You can run it by yourself without any trouble. If you remember, you're married and just stop flirting with the customers.
Yeah, man, I love the commentary from this era. It's too much, honestly, but yeah, this is just classic Matt Baker at his best. All right.
Tony said take some of the parts off of that cover and role play with it.
All right. Hey, what's up, Adam? Hope you're doing well, buddy. All right. So I was telling Carter on Hot Book Alert Live on Sunday that I was looking at some comics in this comic shop in Connecticut that I happened to stumble across. And for the first time in my life, I'd come across one of these spicy pulps. It was Spicy Adventures, I believe. And it was for $200, and I left it, and I was kicking myself, and I'm continuing to kick myself. But anyways, it got me thinking about some other pulps, and this one is a serious book. Spicy Mystery, Volume 10, Number 6, Culture Publishing, September 1941. They didn't credit the artists on these covers. H.J. Ward did a lot of them. I don't know if he did this one, to be perfectly honest with you, but I just thought it was an interesting take. You had this dude with 2 girls in chains. If you look in the background, there looks like there's several of them. I don't know what he's got on his forehead, if that's like a headlight of some sort. But,
he's a Chevy.
Right.
But
first appearance of Chevy in a comic.
But Yeah, I mean, he really has these girls dressed quite scantily, I would think.
You do see the
Is this
penises
where
in the
2
background?
Chainz got his name? I
Do
see
you see
that
the
now.
penises in the background?
Oh, yeah, way in the back.
Yeah.
That's a good catch, Carter. That's a very good catch.
Man, I didn't get it. So
Tits.
man,
It's
yeah, tips.
they were doing this way before Disney was then, apparently.
It's like a progression: small, big, 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 small.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
it's
the Victoria's Secret ad, man. It's like crazy. Mama.
Lou Merrill wrote a lot of these pulps back in the day, Derek. Like a lot of these any of the spicy ones, spicy detective, spicy mystery, spicy western.
Lou.
Lou Merrill had his name all over these, but yeah, there's only a single copy of this on eBay, I believe, and somebody's asking like $500 or $600 for it.
Looks like Marko Djurjevic art.
Kinda, yeah.
Well before he was born, yes.
Yeah. His grandfather.
All right, let's keep going. I go to admit, I love pulps. I'm not saying it's the best place to put your money, but goddamn, these books are too much to pass up. So this is Spicy Mystery Volume 9, number 4.
Air Maiden.
Culture Publishing again from 1940. I mean, they just strapped this girl to a freaking rocket. I mean, I don't know what was going on with these guys back in the 40s, but they were just like exotic ways to kill their girls, man. Like,
Right.
so
I know. I'm gonna put her on a rocket.
I'm gonna send her into space. Yeah, this is another obscure one, highly collectible that you don't see that often. And I don't have any prices for sales or grading on these because you just can't find any info on it. But when I find pulps, I go through all of them, and you don't find them often, but I've never found any of the spicy mysteries. The first spicy at all I found was, like I said, Spicy Adventures, and I didn't put it on the show because I'm half considering driving back there and getting that damn book. But
Go get it, man. Oh,
yeah, that's probably part of it, man. Like, what do you mean you're unfaithful to me? I was over fighting the war and you were. All right, I put this one on the show for Carter. I know he loves Golden Age Ghost Rider, and one of his all-time favorite covers is it number 4? What's the issue that you really love, Carter?
Number 5.
Number 5. Okay. So this is number 7, Dick Ayers cover, Magazine Enterprises 1951. An 8.5 of this sold for about $2,300 back in June of 2024. 38 on the census, high grade 9.2. Carter, I want to know, where does this stack up for you? How do you feel about this one?
It's okay. It's not bad. I like the Frazetta covers a little bit better, but it's not bad. It's it's a weird, wild cover.
Is that a dragon? That's a snake, like a snake with a big head, right?
It's a dragon with it's like a snake dragon.
All right.
It's a
Very
snaggin'.
imaginative.
It's a snaggin'.
Snagging.
Okay.
Snag on.
Snug on.
It's a rattle dragon because it has
Snag on. Strike.
Yeah, we just made a new name.
He's about to cap it right in the throat, it looks like, though.
Yeah. So they'll be all right. But you got the damsel in distress. And he's got that big anaconda wrapped around her. Look at that. With those heaving bosoms.
I mean, he's got like a rattle on the end of that tail, right? So it's a rattlesnake dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have wings?
It's got wings.
Got wings. It's a rattlesnake dragon with wings.
I wouldn't want to mess with that thing. I would not want to mess with that thing. So. All right, let's keep the show rolling. Oh, there we go. Shadow Comics number 11. For whatever reason, this book is ridiculously hard to find, even pictures of. I couldn't find information on the cover artist. It was from Street and Smith in 1944. Believe it or not, there's a 9.2 of this book. It sold for $5,500 in January of 2024. Only 24 of these on the census. And that skeleton choking that girl just really
cool.
jumps out to me.
She's all,
Like, that art looks ahead of its time.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks like, is that painted cover, and then you got the I guess non-painted portion in the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, that had to have been painted there in the middle, right? It just it's so distinctly different than in the lower corner there, the art there. Shadow Comics are weird. I mean, some can go for a ton, others don't go for as much, but this cover is quite distinct. Not one I've actually ever seen in person.
Evil Xavier.
All right. Let's keep going. We got a lot of books to talk about tonight. All right. So this is an interesting one. Listen, I wouldn't necessarily be putting big money behind anything Neil Gaiman related. That said, people love Sandman. So this is Musings number 1. From, I believe that's Calliope Comics 1993. Jill Thompson did the cover. A 9.2 sold for $175 in 2023. There's only 6 of these graded on the census. A single copy in 9.8. But beware, if you're looking for this, there are second printings that are you can't distinguish them from looking at the cover from anything that I've seen.
why does this look like Edward Scissorhands before he had scissor hands?
Well, that you got to read the story, Joe, because when you get to the end, you're going to find out how he got those scissor hands.
You got Winona Ryder there. Johnny Depp.
It's a prequel.
Right? It's a prequel.
Oh, there's a Helena
gotta
Bonham
call it,
Carter in the background.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, which one came out? What year did Edward Scissorhands come out?
89, maybe?
89?
No, 80-ish.
Okay.
Was it 80s? I thought it was early now. Wow. I've lost track of time.
Oh, shit.
80s?
1990.
1990. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, well. So
You peed on me, Neil. Why did you do that?
Tony, I think you're right. Sandman longer term, but I think just the shit going on with Gaiman right now will probably give people an entry point because, I mean, that's pretty horrific shit the dude was doing, if it's all true. So, yeah, this may be your window to load up on Sandman.
Did he get accused of peeing on a chick? Or was it?
It was just confused? Like he made his girlfriend sign NDAs of not disclosing the shit that he made them do. I mean, he was a pretty sick bastard, I think.
Wow.
It's on the internet.
What, him peeing on people?
Whatever he was,
I don't know.
Whatever he was doing.
Details,
hey, move away from there. I don't want to get my comics wet. I thought it was funny.
All right.
Yeah, if you're going to look for this book, just be aware of the second printings because they look exactly the same. All right.
You guys like bait me. You know that? You're just like.
All right. Switching to some David Finch. We've had so many people asking for Finch on the show, so we will do our best to accommodate. New Mutants number 12 from 2010. This is a Finch 1 in 25. This is a book you don't see that often. That's set a 9.8, sold for $90 back in late 2020, which I think is a pretty good deal. Only 18 of these on the census and 10 and 9.8. I would assume you have this, Carter.
No.
You never found this one. All right. If there's one person I was willing to bet that had this book, it would have been you.
I never found it cheap, so.
I mean, that 90 for a 9.8 was a steal for somebody.
It's weird, man. Some of these Finches go for something, some of them don't. It's a weird crapshoot.
This one feels a little off the radar to me, to be honest with you, but it's also from that 2000. Like these ratios from 2010, they are not plentiful at all. They're very difficult to find. So, but a very cool book featuring some of the classic New Mutants characters. You've got Warlock, Cannonball, Sunspot, all the rest. On my list, but never came across, unfortunately. Yeah, we're not holding this out to be Finch's top work, but appealing nonetheless. All right, this one's for our friend Bruce. If he is in the chat, Bruce, hope you're there, buddy. If not, catching us on the rewind. I hope you're well. X-23 number 1 from 2010. This is a Will Conrad's second print. A 9.8 of this sold early last year for $149, which is respectable. Only 30 on the census, just over half of those in 9.8. And Carter, in the chat, you said you had this one.
I do. I bought this thinking it would be on par with the Del Otto, which I didn't have at the time.
Never quite got there.
No, not at all. But it's cool. It's a cool book. It's a cool book to have. I'm glad I have it.
I mean, this is the kind of book that can grow into itself over time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what the scene is.
Yeah, I thought at first like he was stabbing her, but is she stabbing him? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's just really difficult to understand the scene just based on the cover. I'm pretty sure there's like other interior pages that they could have like used as the cover, but I don't know. Maybe they just wanted Wolverine on it.
I assume it has something to do with that, but I don't mind this cover, as weird as it is. There's something about it that I kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
But not a common book. But and then also shout out to Dino. We were talking with us in the chat as well. All right. What else do we got? All right. Let's talk a bit about Gwenpool tonight. I didn't really ever want to talk about this book, but I figure what the hell. Gwenpool number 17. Beautiful Gurihiru cover.
A good.
Not a highly graded book. I think it's one of the better covers in the entire series. I mean, it kind of sums up the character, the breaking of the fourth wall, all the different panels. It's a really well done cover, I think, the more you look at it. The interesting thing about this book is that it was getting towards the end of the series, and there were about 22,000 copies of this book ordered. But most of the orders came from the cover B. And if you don't mind going to the next slide, Aaron. So this is the cover B. This book is quite plentiful.
Yep.
This is a Nakayama.
I love that cover. I love
it's a beautiful cover. And he's homaged it with Jubilee, I believe. And I was talking to Nakayama about it. I'm like, why don't you do a Gwenpool of this? And he's like, I probably should. But anyways, all of the orders for this book went to this issue. This was heavily graded, given what it is, 72 copies, 56 and 9.8. Doesn't go for a whole hell of a lot. But the other book, when you're digging, you should grab that book because it's pretty hard to find. I don't even know if there's a single copy on eBay right now. Maybe in a lot, but on a standalone basis, I don't think there's any copies of that book on eBay. And I think it's a great representation of the character, and just one that I've always grabbed. When I only have 2 copies of it, maybe, because it really just is never out there when I'm digging. But in the event that you come across it for a good price, it's probably worth picking up.
I like the blue jeans.
Yeah, this one you can find, and it can go for $10 or so. This is a great book. I mean, if you find it cheap, pick it up. But it's the cover A, the one we showed before, is the one that you should definitely try to find if you're out there digging.
Can you go back to that cover A, Yee, so I can see it? Okay.
She's hanging onto the trade dress, and it's just her breaking through the different panels.
Yeah, that's good.
Fourth wall breaking.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's keep moving. This is a really tough book. Punisher #1 from 1995. Tom Lyle. He did a foil cover of this. A 9/8 sold recently for $190, which is respectable. But they have this book in newsstand. So that's what you should be looking out for if you come across this. There's only 64 in the census, 25 in 9.8, and that's inclusive of both direct and newsstands on this one. This is during the Marvel Edge era, which was the bankruptcy years for Marvel. So, these books were not heavily printed. Either one of them are good to pick up, but if you find the newsie in this, grab it for sure. I never see this thing.
Yeah, this was foiled.
This is a foil. That background, what looks like white, that's silver.
Yeah.
And I dig a lot, and I never see this book.
Yeah, I haven't. I've seen it before, but never in hand or come across it. Like, this is books like that. We're touching on books that aren't on a comic wall. When you go to a shop, these are books that are like hidden, like you're almost having to rediscover some of these books that probably low print run, especially in newsstand. Foils are now a thing. They're more appreciated now, especially without scratches on them and shit like that still have that reflectivity on there and that shine. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, the gimmick covers from this era are all worth grabbing still, particularly in newsstand if you can find them. But this is just, whatever reason, this book just is not in the bins, man. So there's a lot of Punisher #1s I think about, but like this one, not one that readily comes to mind. So
I never paid attention to this book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, it's the Marvel Edge. That was when the years Marvel was on the edge or in bankruptcy. So the print runs on all of these books were lower, much lower.
No one sees this book because Comic Man Andy owns them all.
Not surprised. All right. This is a shout out to Tony. I know you're in the chat, brother. This was his recommendation from tonight. This is Monstress #10 from 2017. Doesn't feel that long ago, but time has a way of playing tricks on you. This is a Sonny Takeda cover B. Tony had given me a bunch of books from Sonny Takeda. We'll put more in future shows, but I grabbed this one for tonight. Thank you again, Tony. A 9/8 sold for $50 for this book back in March. Seems kind of like a deal. This is obviously a Spawn homage, a well done one at that. 56 of these on the census, 59.8. So it doesn't seem like a difficult book to get a 9.8, but it is a good looking cover.
Mm-hmm. Such a great artist, man.
Yeah, for sure.
If you have one of those 98s, crack it open and see if you get a 99.
9.8 isn't good enough now. CPR your 9.8s.
Yeah. Or get it signed. That might be another option.
Yeah, this is great art, David. We agree. We would agree with you. Beautiful. And these crossover books, the Spawn collectors, they may come around for that book at some point. So, and they're a rabid collector base. So, all right, trade paperbacks. We've covered a lot on the show, and when we find them that are interesting, we'll always put them on. But this is Conan the Rogue trade paperback. And Joe Jusko did the cover of this, which is quite stunning. A 9.8 of this book sold for almost $300 late last year. A high 9.8 of this book sold for almost $500 a decade ago. But only 11 of these on the census, which is kind of surprising, and 4 9.8. I've never come across this book in the wild. It's magazine size, but it's definitely worth a little something if you find one. Anybody got this on the panel by any chance?
No. I would say of all the Conan books you got to wade through, I think people like when they see a bunch of Conan in boxes at a store, do they bother to look through them, or do they just tune out?
I mean, I go through them, but it's usually because it's in a magazine box and it's not just Conan. Maybe it's mostly Conan, but there's some other things in there. So like I'll go through it just to be thorough, but I can't speak for anybody else.
I mean, I'm that guy that goes through those magazine boxes because you may find something that's autographed or like just something that's a rare cover or high grade cover. Like when you get the older books, older magazines, I mean, that's what you're looking for, high grade, man. But definitely Joe Jusko, I mean, he's a bad man.
This came out in 1990.
It looks older than that. Looks like it came out in the 70s, man.
Yeah.
So this predates those Marvel cards he did.
Just barely, yeah. Yeah, good looking book though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing that these are exactly the kind of books that can fall through the cracks at stores. So
I wonder what the original art for this sold on Heritage.
I mean, probably for nothing because it was sold in 1991 for like $500 or something, or grand. And somebody's just sitting on it. We'll never let it go.
Right.
All right. What else we got on the show for tonight? All right. For all the Spawn collectors out there, this is an obscure one. This is Spawn, the Book of Souls. Beautiful Cthulhu cover. There's two versions of this. We're talking about the BET Action promo variant. So this was a giveaway. Very, very tough to find. The cover's identical to the original. I believe the guts of this is Spawn Bible #1. But on this one, you can see in the lower right-hand corner where it says BET Action. So that's how you know that this is the really rare one. A 9.8 of this sold for $1,100 in the middle of last year, which is very respectable. Only 12 of these on the census in total, and 5 in 9.8. But we all know how rabid spawn collectors are, and these aren't going to hang around long when they show up.
I've never seen this. So Black Entertainment Television did a promo book.
Correct.
Huh. That's
They
interesting.
gave this one away, but there's not many to be found apparently.
Do you know how, like, where they were
I
giving it
think
away?
there was like some event that they were doing. Like I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was some event that they were doing where this was present.
You had to show up to the BE2 studios to pick it up, and then they wouldn't let you on the lot. So then, I'm just joking. I have no idea.
But yeah, this is definitely a modern Ghost for sure. And like I said, the cover for the regular one is identical without the Black Entertainment Television logo in that lower right corner there.
Oh, I
And
guess
this isn't even the great picture of this book.
Oh, so I guess a film promotion for the movie,
Okay.
the original '90s.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's right. When the movie was coming out, they were promoting it. That's right. Who mentioned that? Was that Derek? No, it was David. Yeah. Thank you, David. That's right.
Joe, do you have this?
Mm-mm.
If anybody had this, I'd be shocked. All right. Let's let the beat build. What do we got next? All right, I'm just throwing this out there because it's a good looking book. Came out during the pandemic. This was a 2020 book. Buffy the Vampire Slayer number 15. Justine Franny 1 and 25 variant. Has very much a Jenny Frison vibe to it, if I'm being honest. And only 6 of these on the census, 11 and 9.8. This book doesn't show up enough to have really any recent sales, but I would grab this very quickly if I found it cheaply.
Mm-hmm. So if you go to, like, this is one of the things that I was specking on years ago, because a lot of the stuff was like pretty much gobbled up during the COVID thing. Everybody was like picking up anything, right? These Buffy books, and I forgot the other series. It might have been oh my god, I can't, on the Sci-Fi Network, I can't remember, but there's so many like unlockable variants, cover B's, cover C's, cover D's, like Mirko and Dolfo, Mercado, Jenny Frison, just so many low-key variants, low print run that nobody talks about. I remember I picked up a stack of nothing but variants one time, and I remember calling like Steve Horn, and Steve was like, yeah, well, and I was like, and now like when I look them up, like they're you can't find them. Like there's a lot of badass Jenny Frison Buffy books, but you got to just like next time you're digging, like, and you see Buffy stuff, pull them out, look at the back, and see if they're the variants, man. That may be one way, but
Yeah, that's good advice, man.
but this looks like a Batman book. Do you know what I mean? You've got the Batman bat at the top left hand corner. It looks like that could be a Harley right there.
Could be a Harley, could be a Frison. This book could take on a lot of different a lot of different vibes, but I think there's maybe none of these on eBay, maybe one of these, I forget, but it's not plentiful. We got JC in the house grabbing this for $2, so that's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this book. Great cover.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And yeah, as Joe said, there's a lot of these Buffy variants out there that are probably worth keeping an eye open for. All right.
Huh.
A Blast from the Past, Dawn #1, and not the Linsner Dawn. This is a Brian Pack cover. This is a parody comic, so this is not.
This is a porn parody comic.
Have you read this?
I have this. I paid $8 for this like a few years ago.
Is it like hardcore? Like
yeah, yeah. It's like dripping. It's so bad.
Okay, I've never seen it, but I thought it was like one of those spoof comics, you know, like the ones that like Hughes has done. But you're saying it's even edgier than that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm
sorry I bought it, honestly.
I did not know that. I've never read this. I have seen this out at shows and stuff, but never got into the guts, as you'd say.
Guts.
Brainstorm Comics from 1994. Only one of these graded, which I was surprised to see.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because CGC won't grade them.
It's probably PGX that graded it.
Yep. I don't know what this book really goes for. Because so when I bought it at the time, I think maybe copies were going for like $15. You know what I mean?
I think they go for a little bit more than that. I mean, there are some people who ask a lot for this book, for whatever reason, like a real lot, and then other prices closer to that $20 to $25 range, I'd say. But yeah, I did not realize the interior was so intense, I guess.
It was really gross.
I felt that I thought it was just more like one of those, like I said, one of those spoof comics. But and the irony of this is that there was obviously a huge Dawn character, you know, by Linsner from the same era.
Well, Dawn looks like Dawn. Looks
All
like
right. I put this on for Igor. He was like, "What can you tell me about this book?" I got to be honest, buddy. I couldn't find anything, so I'm just putting it out here for other people to comment on. Lady Death Mischief Night #1, limited to 15 copies. We have covered one of these books before on the show.
Oh, okay. I see what she's doing. She's doing that. That kind of threw me off.
It's from.
Like, I was like, what?
I hear what you're saying now, Joe.
That played tricks on my eyes. I was like, what the hell, Igor?
So she's really pale. So what color would the nips be?
Gray? I don't know.
Would they be grayish hue, grayish or pinkish hue?
Yeah.
They're gonna look like her eyes. You know, it's gonna be like white on the areolas and then like black in the
So these Lady Death books are always really tough to find because, you know, Brian Pulido he really limits these things, and once they get absorbed, I mean, they become genuine ghosts to the point of almost urban legend. But the next slide is just the back cover of it, if you don't mind going to it, Aaron, for a second. And it just is basically this saying it came out on May 15th, 2015, and there are only 15 copies of it. So if anybody knows anything about this, like who the artist is, like it's really difficult to find anything. Let us know, let Igor know. He was asking, but I spent some time digging into this without a whole heck of a lot of luck. But yeah, 15 comics. I mean, this is, as Dennis would say, books that are so rare they're worthless. This falls into that category. Now, what I would say is that we did cover one of these books on the show way back when. If you go to the next slide, we covered this Jeff DeCall early on in the show. This is very hard to find. This is one of his rarer books. It was limited to 125 copies, so very difficult to come across this one.
How do you limit something to 125 copies?
Yeah, it wasn't 15, but even 125 is tough enough to find.
That'll create a frenzy. It'll create fist fights. It'll create broken friendships and relationships.
Now, what I would say is that this was released well before his star had risen. This is that 2014. I think you could order this 2014. Came out in 2015, but so nobody cared at the time when this came out. I'm fortunate enough to have a copy of this book, but it doesn't show its head very often.
What a Lady Death Nips. That's good.
This was Tony. I don't think this was a Kickstarter. I think this was just available for sale back in the day. I think this was before he was doing Kickstarters. I don't know that for sure, but I think 2014 was before Kickstarter became a thing. That's a decade ago now. So, but yes, for his Kickstarters, 125 is on the high end, but 125 books is, for any artist that's sought after, will disappear almost instantly. And these were hanging around back in the day before Tikal really broke big. Like, you could find these periodically, but they've all dried up. For me, this is a great comic of his.
My internet's still acting up, so I'm not going to say anything.
All right. This book is a super ghost. A super ghost. Fantastic Four Trapped in the Data Vortex, #1. It's a Greg Land cover, Marvel from 2011. This is a promo comic given out by Hitachi Data Systems, and it's really virtually impossible to find anything on this book. I don't know where they were getting like who is Hitachi getting?
I mean, like, Fantastic Four is tough enough to write. You know what I mean? So imagine you want to be a writer. Here, write this book. It's for Hitachi. You're like, fuck.
Oh my goodness!
It's gonna be a one shot.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, some of these Marvel promos from this era, right? Engineering companies, auto manufacturers. I mean, they were just
the military industrial complex.
The military industrial. Who was that? Lockheed or no? Northrop.
Northrop Grumman. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were doing these things. Like, how the hell do you even come across these books? Promotional comics from like mega corporations. You got to go to like their corporate office, and they're sitting there when you walk in the door. Like, where the hell do you get these things?
Random conferences, like business conferences, is like they're handing them out. I would assume.
Yeah, but I mean, is that a good use? Like, we're going to give comics out at business conferences? Like, I don't know. Like, I would be happy to get one, but like,
you're like probably like
one out of 50 or something,
or 5,000 people there.
If he takes the comic, he's the mole. Kill him.
If he comes back there and grabs 10 more, we know who he is.
Yeah, he's the mole.
I mean, this one would appeal to Greg Land collectors, certainly Fantastic Four collectors, or just people who like obscure comics. But I would love to know if anybody in the chat has ever even come across this thing or ever seen it. I mean, it kind of blows my mind how prevalent these promo books were.
Okay, let's rewind a little bit from that, though. I'll be impressed if anyone's ever come across a Hitachi data system server.
What about you, Aaron? Have you come across one?
I have, and I decommissioned it because it was that old. Because the company doesn't exist anymore, I don't think.
Was there a comic book like in the bottom to catch like anything like in the just hanging out in there somewhere?
I ran into it at a data center, and it was just an old system that like some researcher was using, and then
when I'm looking at this cover, I'm like Like, what does Reed Richards need an IT guy for? He's his own IT.
Yeah.
That's a good point. One thing I did see about this cover is that Greg Land drew all the OA. I could find that the OA went up for sale on Heritage a few years ago, or maybe more than a few years ago. But each character was an individual drawing. So Reed was its own piece. Thing was its own piece. So each character was its own individual, and they put them all together after the fact.
Okay.
It wasn't all the characters weren't drawn on the same on the same paper. They were all individual, which was interesting.
Hey David, how did you end up with the AAFES one? Are you a part of the military industrial complex?
I find these promo books digging from time to time, and you can always, the giveaway typically is that up in the upper left corner it says Marvel Custom Edition. So anytime you see Custom Edition, it's a promo book for somebody. But this one I'd never heard of, and apparently it's super rare.
Well, I know we had covered some of them before in the past, like some of the what is it, the banks that had them, just different banks that had comics, Marvel custom books.
It's amazing how many there are. Like Audi had one. I mean, there's just a ridiculous amount of them. We could easily do a whole show on all of them. People would probably get bored by the end of it, but but they released several of these, but this one is definitely up there as one of the rarest. We'd covered, as Carter mentioned, the Northrop Grumman one. Carter had it on Hot Book Alert on Sunday. What did that 9.8 go for? Like $500?
Something like that.
Yeah, so $500 for a 9.8 roughly. But that book was at a con. It was at San Diego. It was at a big con. I think it was at San Diego. And when people heard that the military industrial complex was giving out comics, they got up in an uproar, and they basically packaged them all up and didn't give them. So only a few of those got released into the public before they were destroyed, which makes that book so rare. Derek, there is supposedly a 3D version of that book as well, but I've never seen any evidence of it. I've seen that it's been referenced, but I've never actually seen any evidence that it exists. But yes, I am with you. There's supposedly a 3D version as well.
Oh,
and if you find it, tag us, share it with us. We'll cover it on the show. We'd love to get into it, but yeah.
It's got the unedited Zapruder film in there.
Maybe an urban legend. All right. Before my internet craps out again. All right. Big shout out to Cover Price. Make sure to use the code Nirvana14 for a 30-day unlimited membership for only 99 cents. You can also use the code Nirvana for a 10% discount on their website and in store as well. All right. Let us know what shows y'all have coming up this week.
Hot Book Alert live on Sunday nights.
Check it out. It's a good time.
I think me and you are going to be on the top 10 tomorrow night with House of Stein and Brian McClay. I think,
as long as my internet doesn't crap out like it is tonight. So
what's going on? You got bad weather
on the Friday night show. I'm sure everybody here is watching it, but if for some reason you aren't, make sure you're checking out that show. Always a fun time.
You ever seen this one?
All right. I'm going to call it there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good book. Yeah.
All right. Let's see if I can get out of here.